think the microphone can hear that.
Let me just take my breasts off. I'm your wife again, flat-chested.
Hello, lovely people. For those of you who don't know us, hi, I'm Jessica. This is my beautiful wife, Claudia.
Hello.
And less than 6 weeks ago, you did something amazing.
I had 2 big, human beings pulled out of me.
Yes!
Wow.
Yes, you did. Don't worry, they were small.
Yeah, luckily, smaller than average.
Yes. I do feel like when you say 2 human beings pulled out of me, I can't help but picture adults.
Well, you said that exact phrase to me the other day, and I was like, no wonder I burst into tears.
That was to make you feel better.
I know. I was sat on the operating table just about to have my spinal, and I burst into tears. I wouldn't really call it burst into tears. I did silent tears.
That is your version of bursting into tears.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Claudia's emotions are quite low key.
I just did that, and a tear came down. Luckily, the midwife that was looking after me went, "Oh, she just needs a moment." But yeah, that was 6 weeks ago.
It went pretty well.
Yeah, I've got makeup on for one of the first times today. Jessica's suddenly enamoured. She's like, "Wow, you're so beautiful. Wow, you're so beautiful." I'm like, all right.
They've been home from the hospital for 3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks. Yeah. I'm still trying to work out the best feeding and the best sleeping and the best all sorts of things. So that's why we thought we would ask you what questions you had for us and try and give us some direction of of what we are doing.
I think it's one of those classic things though with babies where you totally get it for 1 week and you're like, yeah, absolutely got this down, we know exactly what we're doing, and then they change.
Well, with Rupert, we had lots of schedules, didn't we?
We did.
Jessica would print them out, 8-week schedule, 9-week schedule, and she'd put a new one up on the fridge each week because obviously it changed, and she'd follow the week by week book. Been very upset. She's asked every health visitor and every midwife we've come across and every doctor about this week by week. She's like, the week by week
your baby
book?
Week by week.
And they're like, some of them are like, yeah, and others are like, no. And then she's like, well, we followed it to a T because Rupert followed it. And now the twins are premature. How do we do it? Is it week
Do we start in week 1? Do we wait until their term and then it's week 1? What do we do?
The health visitor said to us, well, your first baby was probably just one of those rare babies that followed the book, because actually it doesn't always go like that.
No.
So anyway, the point is you can't do the week by week schedules now.
Obviously I'm still going to. We still kind of are.
But the point also, though, just to make you feel better, we didn't start it until week 8.
Yes.
And they're only week 6. And
they're not actually week 6 yet.
Or are they? Is it actual age or adjusted age?
In medical terms, and when speaking to doctors, and especially about things like milestones, you're supposed to go in your baby's adjusted age, which is the time past their due date. So it's about not setting your expectations too high, which I think would be good. We don't really have many expectations.
Well, you expect them to follow the week by week rule book.
And for those who don't know, we also have a 4-year-old. We should probably speed this up though, because there are actual babies that sleep in this room with us.
Yes.
But let's just take a moment to say that we have the most thoughtful viewers, and you've been so kind and so sweet, sending lovely messages and leaving lovely comments and asking about our physical and mental health. We're surviving.
I think you've got poor mental health, and I've surprisingly my mental health's fine, but my physical health is not great. My back hurts, my feet ache a lot. Used to give me lovely foot massage, but she got poor mental health, so she doesn't want to give me a foot massage right now. We're just surviving.
Wait, you go to bed and then I used to give you foot rubs on the sofa in the night time, but now you go to bed and I do the evening shift.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a foot rub in the middle of the day. You just have to find time to ask for it.
Is it the middle of the day now?
I was just having a chill.
Just taking all the moments I can to semi-recline without a baby on me.
Absolutely, go for it. All right, next question. No question. I just want to say I think it's great that you respect your kids' privacy while still making really important content and being a lesbian couple we can look up to.
Oh, thanks.
That is really nice. Thank you very much. I think it's really important to still have content and things that people can see that are about parenting and what it's like to be a parent when you are 2 women and you're a queer family and one of you has a disability, and just seeing different facets of the world. But I think we both very much feel like the children didn't ask to then be part of that. But yes, becoming new parents to twins has been a joyful and chaotic whirlwind, and privacy and karma in short supply here. But one place we do keep things protected is online, which is obviously why we have been using Surfshark VPN forever. If you've been watching my videos for years, you know. Surfshark VPN, and they are the sponsor of today's video. Now, Surfshark encrypts all of your internet traffic. They keep your personal data safe from hackers and snoops, even when you are scrolling during your 3 a.m. feeds or desperately Googling how to burp 2 babies at once. Plus, with Surfshark, we can virtually change our location to access parenting resources and content that's not available in the UK. Honestly, it is such a help. And one Surfshark account works on all devices, so we don't have to argue about who gets to use it. And in the future, our multiple children will all be able to. Just go to surfshark.com/Jessica and use code Jessica at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN for free. Because we are navigating a lot of new things right now, and worrying about digital safety, it shouldn't be one of them. So, as much as we are happy to talk about life and talk about our experiences as parents, it's it's going to be very much their choice to then be included.
I mean, also they have the cutest, Rupert's the most handsome.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Model, I mean, we're maybe biased. Oh no, I would say obviously people are going to think we're biased,
because whenever we go anywhere,
people
random
say he's
people
beautiful
on the street will just mention how beautiful he is.
Yeah, my sister said he would make the perfect baby model / child model. Now he's got older, he is adorable.
He's stunning. Those cheekbones.
Yeah, a lot of people like to say he looks just like me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool.
Why are we just talking about how gorgeous that child is?
Because we're saying we don't show him, but oh my god,
well, you know what? If he decides when he is an adult to pursue a public-facing career, I will ask him if I can release his childhood photos.
He has, and the girls are equally adorable, but obviously they haven't grown into their faces yet.
Sorry, we should talk them up.
I know, I was like,
what are you doing? They are also very beautiful, obviously. Do the twins have nicknames? Yes, lots of people have asked. So Augusta and Theodora are their names. And
we chose those names because of the ability to give them a multitude of abbreviated names.
Yes.
And also names that were non-gendered, we really liked.
Yeah.
Nicknames that could be non-gendered. So Theo and Gus, Teddy.
Asta, Theda, Gusta, Theo.
Theda,
Adora. I mean,
Aurora.
There's a lot. There are a lot of different nicknames. But firstly, Rupert does not like their names being abbreviated at all. It's Augusta and Theodora to him.
He has accepted slowly Gus.
Yes, because that's the reason he wanted Augusta in the first place, was so he could call someone Gus.
And I was like, well, if we call Augusta Gus, does Theodora have a shortened name? He's like, no. Okay.
No, he accepts Thee.
Thee.
Thee. He says that's fine. You can call her Thee.
Well, I started calling them Asta and Theda at the beginning, and he was very upset about that.
Absolutely not. That was not okay. Well, maybe in a few months he'll come around.
I think we will naturally have a name that we are inclined to call them.
Yeah, I think it's also personality based.
Yeah, I think at the moment it's fine. And when we're texting each other about anything, we just say A and T.
Yeah. How is colour coding? Can you tell them apart easily? Yeah, one of the questions that people ask a lot is how identical are they? Is it harder to tell them apart than we thought it would be? Is it easier to tell them apart than we thought it would be?
I mean, it's so interesting about the colour coding because I was like, what? How do they know about that already?
So commonly recommended is that you put one twin in
one colour.
One colour and one twin in the other colour, so you always know.
And we bought little bracelets, but of course the bracelets don't fit them because they're really small.
These
we left their little anklets on, the hospital anklets, when we first brought them home. But they were the same colour, and you had to really look at them to see who was who. And
also, it was unnecessary.
I didn't really use it, and it was unnecessary because, talking of colour, they're actually both different colours.
Yeah.
Even though they're identical,
yeah.
The one thing, well, they're also different sizes, but
they're one embryo that's split.
Yeah. Well, basically, Augusta is slightly more yellow toned in her skin, and Theodora is more pinky red toned in her skin.
Yeah.
And we've had it checked out. We thought maybe they had both had jaundice and presenting in different ways, but they've just got normal...
I mean, they do have jaundice.
Yeah, but they've just got normal breastfeeding jaundice because they're being breastfed. The doctor checked all of the different the hemoglobin levels and the specific iron levels.
Is it the
bilirubin levels?
Is it TAPS? Is it any of these things that could give your
babies? So then I said, well, what is it then? And the doctor said, we don't know. It might just be that they are expressing their genes slightly differently, even though they have identical genes. Environmental factors within the womb may have caused them to express differently. And I was like, whoa. So I was like, will it always be like this? He's like, maybe, or it might level out. We just don't know.
So potentially, they will always be slightly different skin tones and unable to share makeup. Or they might, in 6 months' time, be completely identical and
Yeah.
we won't be able to tell them apart.
Augusta is slightly smaller.
Yes.
And Theodora is slightly bigger. And with that, Theodora has like much chubbier cheeks.
Yeah. And just a bigger skull.
Just a bigger head
as well. Her skull is larger, so then it makes her face look a bit different.
Yeah.
Whereas Augusta is just, she's got like the squished petite version of the face.
How do you feed both babies at the same time? I think this is the thing I have Googled the most. How do I bottle feed at the same time? How do I breastfeed at the same time?
Obviously, like tandem feeding, where you can feed 2 babies at the same time, is supposed to be the thing.
So we've tried everything. So I've done the tandem feeding. The issue with that is they're quite small. They've not got good head control. Although the head control is getting better, as Augusta likes to prove. It's just finding the right cushion as well, because also I don't have like really big breasts. And I feel like maybe if you have bigger breasts, maybe the tandem is easier because you have to hold them in the rugby position. Yeah. So I have to kind of like lean forward in order to get my nipple in their mouth, you know? And then I'm basically leaning forward, which is really quite uncomfortable when you're breastfeeding for however long. And then they were like, when one delatches, it's like, what do you do? Like take the other one off? And then like if you need to stop and burp them, then you're like in this weird position. Yeah, like I've done the tandem on my own once in the middle of the night because they both woke up crying and I was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna have to put them on my breast at the same time. And I got the BB Hug Me pregnancy pillow, which we've had since Rupert, like a beanbag filled sausage thing. I wrapped that around me, I put some cushions behind me, I managed to get them both on and I was like, yeah, I did it! Well, Jessica was like fast asleep next to me. I don't know why, I didn't wake her up because she was so tired, I didn't want to wake her up to help me, so I wanted to like see if I could do it myself. And I got them on, they both were feeding fine, and then like because I didn't stop to like burp them afterwards because I was kind of basically stuck in that position, like I think they were just really gassy and uncomfortable that I was up for like another like hour and a half afterwards. Yeah. So I was like, what was the point of doing this like speedy feeding if like I had to like then deal with the consequences of like all the gas afterwards.
The reflux has been intense with these two.
Yeah, and then my back was killing because I was like still having to like kind of do this weird position. So I've kind of given up with the tandem feeding for now. I say for now because I won't rule it out completely, but
also the working out of like breastfeeding and expressing milk and getting yeah
so it's been very much a trial and error and a lot of
hello ladies. Hello.
And a lot of Googling of like what's the best thing, and I think to be honest it is just like you just got to find what works for you. And I think what works for us is probably if I just express and bottle feed.
Yeah, I think like some things that have been really useful and amazing for us are the Baby Brezza, which is a bottle washing, drying, sterilising machine. So great, like we can just run multiple bottles.
We were spending so many hours of our day
and it just goes excellent.
Yeah, cleaning
done. The MAM bottles, like they have an anti-colic thing in the bottom, and that I think really helps lessen the amount of burping.
The only downside of that bottle is because it's got holes in the bottom to do the anti-colic function. Yes. You can't put them directly into a bottle warmer, but that's fine because like you can heat up the milk that you've stored in the fridge in a bag.
You just store it in something else.
Yeah, and then you heat with that something else up.
Yeah. Well, we have the Mum Cozy bottle warmer, which also does bags.
Yeah, and I think that's been great.
It's so clever.
It's
not
so
like
clever.
The most genius thing
it's
ever.
So high tech. It's not.
So high tech. Okay, it's not like an iPhone in a bottle warmer, but it is great because it has a memory function, so it remembers, oh, you used a fridge cold bag last time. Are you using a fridge cold bag with the same amount in this
time? And it
time?
has a night light, which is quite nice,
like,
so you can see it all. I had an episode of Mastitis. I just like went 5 hours without doing a pump. I breastfed one of them, but on one breast only, and then and then Jessica bottle fed the other one, so I hadn't realised that by the time I got round to it, that the other breast hadn't been emptied for like 5 hours, and so I got mastitis in that breast, which is really not nice. No,
not good.
I had to basically use like cold compress to like help it, and then the best way was just using the girls to like help. So then we started like having to, at the same time the girls were getting bigger and hungrier, so we were having to give them a little bit of formula top-ups.
Yeah, we gave him the same formula they gave him at the hospital, which was the
SMA. First infant, like, breast milk substitute formula. They seem to tolerate it really well, so we've just been giving them like 10, 20 ml top-ups after they've had like the bottle, after they've had breast milk, and that's been working well. But
we're not opposed to trying anything.
What time is it?
Oh, it says time to pump for Augusta. So there were a lot of questions about sleep, understandably. I think also, this is actually a difference, because one of the things that we did with Rupert when he was little is did more of the kind of shifts in that I would do, like, you'd feed him, then you'd go to bed, then I would be with him, and then when he needed his next feed, I'd bring him upstairs to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know because it, like, you kind of remember the newborn phase as like, it's probably over a span of a few months, but right now we're trying to compare it to like only a few weeks. But like, because what I mean is like, I think Rupert got to that point where he was sleeping that longer stretch in the evenings.
Right.
So it made sense for me to like do like an 8 p.m. feed. I went to bed and you didn't have to bring him up till like midnight, because he kind of went like those kind of like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Look, they don't quite go that long now. But yeah, you did that, and then I would do the whole night, and then at 6 a.m. I'd wake Jesse up, and then she'd do, and then after his last morning feed, nighttime, whatever, the last feed with me, and then you take him for that next 3 hours so I could sleep. And we're going to try and do that, but then you can't when you have a 4-year-old who gets up at 6:30 a.m.
No, because, and also, does he go to sleep when you ask him to?
So he doesn't go to sleep until like 9 p.m. sometimes. That ruins that evening shift, because you need 2 of us to manage 3 kids. And then he gets up at 6:30. Well, sometimes he gets up even earlier and comes into our bed. So like, you know, we just can't do the whole like evening and morning shift
and I'm
thing.
like, I will do the morning shift, but then you get kind of trapped. You're like, I'm stuck. There's this 4-year-old here and these 2 babies, and the babies need to be fed, but also somehow the 4-year-old has like locked himself in the bathroom. Can you come? Please wake up.
It's kind of a toss between like, what do I find more tiring? Is it like I do a whole night and then I get up, pass the girls to Jessie, and then I go and do breakfast and get Rupert changed, and like, you know, because then at least I can also get myself like a drink and food and things like that, and get him ready for school.
And then come back and go to sleep.
And then come back and go to sleep after dropping off at school. Or is it more tiring to do the other thing? You know? So it's like some days it's just like, I kind of just have to play it by. But we've had some help with morning drop-offs and stuff at least.
Yes, which has been really great. And we are very, very grateful and very thankful. And very fortunate that Claude's dad has gifted us, as our baby gift, a night nurse for 2 nights a week for 6 weeks.
Yeah. I mean,
Just
I told
the
him
best gift you could give.
I told him it was going to happen. We were going to have to that we would decided that we should get a night nurse for our own sanity. We planned it like before we had them, and then my dad's like, he's quite elderly. My mum's not around. Like,
yeah, I mean, they say it takes a village to raise children, right?
That was really.
And we do not have family who can come and do it.
So it just takes the stress of that away. And it does help just having those 2 nights a week. Because 5 nights in a row, by the 6th night, it's like, oh, I'm so glad that, you know, we're getting that help tonight. I still have to get up every 3 hours and pump, so it's not like I'm getting like a nice solid night's sleep, but at least I'm only up for like half an hour, and then I go back and I have a really solid, heavy 3 hours sleep again. Whereas when I'm with the girls, it takes an hour to an hour and a half that I'm awake with them, and then I don't get into a solid sleep because they wake up again in an hour and a half, but also because I think I'm like listening out for them.
Yes, I think that's a big thing. The kind of you're like on edge, ready, prepared. This is why taking them out of the room is better.
Yeah, some mornings I'm like, I don't think I slept at all last night. Not really. Like, I think I lay down, but like I don't think there was any sleep going on, you know?
Have you noticed anything about their personalities yet?
Yeah, I mean, from like almost like the week 1, I'd say, like we could tell like there was differences which stayed consistent.
Yeah, they have personalities in the womb, which is why we were very strong on who had which name, and like Theodora's the one that moves around a lot and Augusta's the one that stays stiller. So that's why we were very keen, like when they come out, whichever order they come out in, the one that's on this side has to have this name, the one that's on this side has to have this name.
Yeah, so Augusta is like she seems like more serious. She's very observant. When she's awake and aware, she just tends to like really stare at a few things, like captivated by like one thing kind of thing for a while, and she really focuses on it. It's like you can tell, like, you know, when like newborn babies just have that like old man wisdom look, like she has that.
She does.
And also she's very like determined, like if she wants to have a feed, she goes for it. Her latch has always been really good. She like she's like easier to burp, she's like easier to feed because she just like focuses on those things, you know.
She's like, feed me, now it's time to feed me,
yeah.
burp me, now it's time to burp me,
yeah.
sleep
time, and then when she's tired she goes to sleep. She's like very much more like single-minded, blah, blah, blah. And also she doesn't like to be held for too long. Like she likes being held, but then she'll be like, put me down now. Whereas Theodora is much more...
She's much more like Rupert.
She's much more distractible.
More like me.
Her eyes kind of go everywhere. She really likes to look at people. She responds to like voices more. Not so good at like latching on, and like also then like gets like more windy, and she's just like more like like more distracted and like not as focused, so she gets like more upset, so she takes longer to go down to sleep. She wants to be held a lot more. Sometimes like she doesn't want a feed or a nappy change, she just wants a cuddle. And when she's hungry or her nappy is like annoying her or anything, she's like much louder about it.
Yeah.
So those are the differences already.
Sorry, no, go for it.
Do some deep breathing.
What is your setup like? Nursery, rooms? That's a good question. So we currently, as we've mentioned in previous videos, don't have a bedroom for the girls.
No, this room that we film in is a bedroom in the house that we use as an office / studio.
The second largest bedroom.
So we're going to make this into their bedroom, which means we then have to have an office / studio somewhere else.
Yes, we're going to build it in the garden. Yeah, I'm going to get a little hut.
It's not that little. It's like 6 meters by 3 meters. That's quite a big outbuilding.
It's going to be a beautiful hut.
It's going to take up like half our garden, but that's why it needs to look nice.
It will be lovely.
Yeah, and excitingly we're having that done at the end of this year or before the end of this year.
Yeah,
I mean, we need to get back to them about colours and stuff.
Yes, we do.
Actually.
I mean, we do actually need to get that done ASAP.
We do.
Because they are going to grow.
Yes, and they can't stay in our room forever.
They really can't. Got them sleeping most of the daytime in each have their own Moses basket. I remember last time when we had Rupert, we were very much like, everyone needs a Moses basket. Everyone needs a Moses basket. Get a Moses basket. And I think we've told every single friend of ours who's had a baby that a Moses basket is where it's at.
And now we have twins, you like completely reiterate this.
I do, absolutely.
Because also you can like move them from room to room without disturbing
and they're just
them.
Asleep.
And
it's great.
They're safe in there. Like if you've got like dogs, like we do, like we've got them on the stands, so they're like naturally raised up and they're like within the thing.
Because we can play games on the floor with Rupert, but you just put the babies in their Moses basket kind of around. So a stray train isn't going to bash into them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what people do without a Moses basket. Do they just constantly holding their babies, I guess?
I guess so.
Because you can't just like put them on the floor, like on a floor mat when they're this young. But yeah, and so they have the Moses baskets in the daytime, and we move them from like the living room or the kitchen or right now into the office, like wherever we are, so they can just come with us. Nighttime, they're in our bedroom. And I learnt with Rupert that I didn't find it that easy actually having one of these like bedside cribs.
Yeah, we tried a snooze pod with him.
Yeah, like
right next to the bed.
With the side down thing, because I'd had a cesarean, and probably not everyone who's had cesareans find this, but me personally, I found it like hard to like sit up when there was like basically a bedside thing right next to me, because I couldn't do like the like lying down breastfeeding with him. I just found that difficult. So I found it easier just to have like my bed like space normally, and his cot, like his bedside crib, pushed to the wall, so that I could actually like swing my legs around off the bed and sit up and then pick him up once my body was in a better position. We put them in the snooze pod.
For one night,
because we realised it was not big enough. They were like a little bit too close. I was really worried about like them, about SIDS and like. I was just like, no, like this is not a good idea. So then we went for the next to me twin.
Chico next to me twin.
Yeah.
Which
kind of like the best of both. Because it's like one thing,
it's
2 single bassinet sized mattresses, and like in between them is like a little like mesh, so they can like
see each other.
Yeah, so they can see each other, and also when you go to them, they're still just like in one space.
Right, anything you're doing differently this time around?
Well, pumping. Like,
Yes.
I pumped a bit last time. Last time I had, like, the LV pump, but I only had a single one.
Yeah.
I remember we, like, introduced the bottle to him in week 1, and I remember being like, wow, look at this milk that came out of my breast. I was like,
so
you know,
great.
but we really didn't stick to it because it was like, it was only one pump. We had to clean it all. I just found it, I was doing more, like, feeding on demand around a schedule. It was just easier, basically being exclusively breastfed with Rupert.
Yeah, it definitely became more frustrating to have to clean things and carry stuff around than it did.
Yeah.
I would hate if having twins the first time.
Yeah, oh my God,
Twins the
so
first time
much.
would be so much. You'd be like, oh God, I'm learning about babies and I'm learning about twins. Whereas this time it's much more like, okay, so we know the basics of babies. Now it's just learning the specific twin stuff.
And it's basically learning how to do 2 rather than 1, rather than learning how to do everything.
Yes. We also have a 4-year-old though. I think a lot of our time and energy does go into managing him when he's around. When he's not around, thank goodness he goes to school. When he's not around, then it's like, okay, 2 babies, what do we do? Okay, how do we do this? But when he is around, it's much more like, okay, let's keep him emotionally steady, make sure he feels good, make sure he knows that we love him, give him one-on-one time.
So, and then talking about putting them down, we have found that swaddling.
Yeah. I think because they did it in the hospital.
Yeah, we just didn't swaddle Rupert. We were quite against it. But I think because they were preterm, they just like, as soon as we put them in a swaddle, they do seem to relax and like go to sleep.
I'm less concerned about, are they have we done this much floor time with them? Have I got the Montessori mobile out yet?
Yeah, because it's all quite early.
Done the things? Yeah, it is still very early, and I think there being 2 of them feels less pressured. I think if we had one, if it was the second baby and it was one baby, I would feel a bit like I want to make sure that she has everything that Rupert had, and I do it exactly the same as I did with Rupert. Whereas because there are 2, it's easier to say, you know, it's not going to be exactly the same. You're never going to be exactly what your first child had because they were the first child. And I feel much less guilt because there are 2 of them.
Do we all fit in the car?
Kind of.
Yeah,
kind of
we
almost.
do. So
Yes.
Rupert, luckily we have a maxi cozy like Nomad travel car seat.
Yeah, it folds up.
Which we had before, which we took to Malaysia with us and stuff, and it's like really compact, it folds, and it's quite skinny. So luckily that fits in the middle seat. So it's not got
There's
Isofix.
yeah.
So we have to strap it in, but it's fine for now. And then the girls are both in their Isofix bases in the Cybex Cloud. And the double buggy with the bassinets does fit in the back, and the dogs just about fit in the back.
I have worked out how to do it. It's like Tetris. It has to be exactly this perfect way, and then it will go in.
So we all do just fit in the car, but you can't put anything else in there.
No bags.
You cannot put you can put like one nappy bag and one Rupert's little rucksack, and that's it. So we wouldn't be able to do any road trips or anything like that. And Rupert is like, it's okay for shortish journeys.
No friends allowed.
He's in the travel car seat. So yes, we have bought another car. It is still being made. But
Still?
We ended up going for the Santa Fe.
Hyundai Santa Fe.
Yeah, the new one, which is like looks pretty big. We didn't want to get one of those like massive transit vans that are basically like a taxi cars. Because
you can't wind down the windows.
Yeah, it was either that option or the thing's like, do you want a van
or a van
or the Santa Fe? And we were like, because we needed something that had 3 Isofix, which is really hard to find.
And space for the buggy and dogs. Okay, well that is enough waffling for today from us in this very hot room. And the next feed's coming up. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything. We've answered more questions over on the members only video, so if you would like to keep the conversation going, please consider becoming a member of the Kellgren-Fozard Club. All you have to do is click the join button down next to the subscribe button, and you get access to the catalogue of over 80 videos from all of the years we've been making them.
Oh my gosh.
And you will also be contributing money to my maternity leave, which I'm very grateful for, and realise I'm working, but you know, the YouTube algorithm is merciless, and so is my anxiety. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and you can also support the channel by clicking on the links of my sponsors. Just go to surfshark.com/Jessica or use the code Jessica at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN for free. And don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram at Jessie and Claude. Behind the scenes life. See how we're coping. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Unless you become a member. Feel free to say something.
I know. I was going to say, if you want to help out even more, you could donate via a coffee.
Oh yes, thanks. Buy some nappies via coffee.
Yeah.
Nappies. Oh my gosh.
See, she's even saying, yeah. I need bigger nappies.
Thank you so much. Let us know in the comments down below as well what other videos you would like to see, what other questions you have, and yeah, and how you're doing. Thank you everyone. We will see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.